Well, I'm back. You get to see my ugly mug again. Guess my wife maybe doesn't think that, but that's a good thing. But I wanted to come back again today to talk about a few things, but again to start talking again about our kids and what they're doing, what they're feeling, what they're seeing. We're square in the middle of this event. Kids are at home. Some awesome people have stepped up, continue to step up every day in providing structure for our kids. And I think we need to keep that in our focus. We can't lose focus of structure for our kids so that we can quell their fears, so that we can squelch their fears. And we do that by continuing to talk to them, ask them questions, help them understand the situation. Don't feed their fears, but help them understand the situation with what's going on and give them comfort, give them guidance, and being strong for them. It's if we are scared as a parent, we are going to create our kids to be scared. And that goes beyond this situation. That's just everyday life. If we are drama, we're going to put drama in our kids' life. Right now, though, it's fear for them. And I think we're moving through those things, but we got to keep focused on squelching their fears. And we do that as parents and people around them by talking to them and creating structure. And teachers out there, I think, are doing some fantastic work. They miss our kids and want to get back at what they're doing. I think we'll get back there. In the meantime, we still need to think about our kids' schedule, what they're doing every day as we leave for work, so that we're not just leaving them there to sit at home and just have massive amounts of screen time and a sedentary lifestyle. And the more sedentary we are and the more we're at home, as I was talking with one of our gals in the office, she was saying, I got to get back to work because I'm home all weekend and I just want to eat. I think for those of us in the food industry, it's good, but for all of us, we can be sedentary, and if we're home, we just want to eat. And for our kids, we need to guard against that and create these schedules. And what is that schedule? Have you established some learning time every day? Have you established some exercise time every day? Have you established your chore times for them every day? Have you established some family fun time in the evening when you're home? And lastly, have you established some screen time? These screens that we're all looking at way too often, we've got to guard against that with our kids. And so what structure are we providing with schedules for these kids? Karen and I don't like to overschedule our kids, but right now we have to put it front and center and focus because our schools provided that structure in our schedule, and we don't have that at this point in time. So now it's up to us to provide that schedule and the structure in our lives: exercise time, learning time, chore time, family fun time. And then lastly, which I believe is the most important, is screen time and limiting that screen time. Everything can be somewhat emotional right now, and the more they're on screen time, the more that we can create emotions. They can look at things that will feed into their emotions and create more problems. And the other thing that we can help them do and help us do is not focusing on ourselves so much, but focusing on other people. And what are the other people around us? What do they need right now? Are there people that we need to help? Are there people that are looking for us to help? And we, as just generous human beings, put less focus on ourselves and help those that are in need of our help. But there are people, we also understand there are people now that can't do that, and they need to focus inward and taking care of themselves. But for those of us that are capable of focusing outwardly and thinking about someone else, let's put some focus on other people, which many people are doing this already, stepping up to the plate. And we just need to challenge each other to keep doing that, focusing on other people's needs so that we can help them through this time of a very uncertain time. And as I've said before, uncertainty creates a leadership opportunity, and that's for us all to capitalize on. Secondly, we're going through a time that I'm certain there will be probably hundreds of books written about what we're dealing with, what we're going through right now, which is all great. They'll all be very perspective built, and we can still learn from those books. But right now it's tough for us all to digest everything coming at us. It just seems that it continues to come and it continues to feed at us and come at us, and every one of us is trying to digest all of this and glean the right information from it and learn what we can learn on the fly and make good decisions. But I was talking to a veterinary classmate of mine who's out in Idaho today, and he was talking about leading his people and how it's not normal for him to fire on the fly, to make decisions on the fly, and to go hard. But we, as any sort of person right now, we're consuming massive amounts of information, and we've got to digest it fairly rapidly and make good decisions, whether you're the leader in your organization or just for your family, or maybe it's in your church, whatever it might be. But there's tons of information coming at us. We've got to take what we need to take in, shut the rest off, and digest it and make fairly quick decisions. I work with our veterinarians on this, making good decisions, but also on, being the calm in the storm. And as we work with veterinarians, train veterinarians when they're first out of school, we teach them there's a ton of things coming at you right now, and you've got to take it, digest it, make decisions, and keep going forward. And if you act scared or fearful, that will build into the people around you, your technicians, the assistants around you. The same thing happens at home. If we're scared and we show that, it will put fear into our kids. So whatever it is, if you're scared or fearful, just understand the effect that you're having on those around you, and it's typically building more fear in those around you. So it's up to us to be calm in this storm. Continue to be calm in this storm. Take everything that's coming at you, digest it as rapidly as you can, but make good decisions and make decisions. Don't be paralyzed in analysis and trying to figure out what to do. You'll be okay. You might make some bad decisions, but make some decisions to help keep moving forward by setting schedules for your kids at home, by helping your people at work, talking to them. Is there anything on their mind? Is there anything that's bothering you? Opening up these channels of communication for everybody around you so that we can continue to move forward and do wonderful, wonderful things. And I ask you, what are you learning? So think about it tonight. What have I learned? What is the information I've taken in? What am I gleaning from it? How can I make decisions to continue to move forward? Move my people forward, move my family forward for the best of the situation, and to help if we all do this, to help keeping our world moving forward. And we're doing that. Many people are doing just some great, great things. But I challenge the doctors out there to think about this, because as doctors, we're trained to be highly analytical, highly scientific, and there are some drugs out there right now that are helping people in great ways. But oftentimes in our doctor arrogance and our analyzation and our scientific brains, we want to slow down and be paralyzed by indecisions when people need our help now. And there's people living and surviving using some of these new drugs that we've never used on these people before for the current coronavirus that are working. And we need to get our doctors to understand that and to think about it and how can they best help. And we thank our doctors that are for doing all this hard work, and our nurses on our front line. We're so grateful for them, but we challenge them to keep growing and thinking and digesting it. And if you're a patient in someone's shoes that's struggling with the disease, advocate for yourself. Or if you have a family member that's on the phone, advocate for them. There are medications out there we can use. No, there's no data for it, but who cares to a certain degree? Sometimes if it's severe enough, we need to pull the trigger, not be indecisive, and use a product that we think is best. We don't have the data. We may not have the knowledge, but as doctors, we've got to move forward, not be paralyzed. And so for everybody else out there, you may not see yourself as a leader, but everybody can be a leader. We want everybody to step up in this time and be a leader. It's a tremendous opportunity. I just left a feed yard today, and I was talking to the manager about this, who's a great manager. And I was talking to him about this is your opportunity to take it to another level, your leadership skills grow from it, learn from it, and lead your people at another level that you've never led before. Be passionate and most importantly, be courageous. Don't be paralyzed with indecision. Use some courage and make bold decisions and move forward. And for all of us, we can't listen to the bad news. Bad news is everywhere. You virtually cannot get away from it. Take in what you need to take in and shut the rest off. Just shut it off. It's hampering our society today. And if we collectively all just shut it off, take in what we need to take in, shut it off, and then listen to the good news. We're focused on the morbidity rates and the mortality rates right now, but what about the successful morbidity rates? How often are we talking about the people that are surviving? We don't even hardly virtually hear it. We hear nonstop about how many people are dying, but there are a tremendous amount of people that our doctors and our medical profession are saving every single day, and we need to focus on those things. Life hands us lemons, but we don't have to freaking suck on those lemons. It's very easy to suck on the lemons. I've sucked on hundreds of lemons, but just because we're handed those lemons, don't suck on them. There is good in this. We will turn back around in 6 months, a year, 5 years, and have many wonderful things that come from this, but it's up to us to not suck on those lemons and to make good of everything we can possibly make good of. We've heard this Mr. Rogers quote here maybe more recently, talking about, I think it's his mother saying, find the helpers, look for the helpers in crisis and difficult situations. And I think there are people that need to find helpers. They need to look for helpers to help them. But I think the vast majority of our human population, we don't need to look for the helpers. We need to be the helpers. Don't just look for the helpers. I challenge you all to be the helper. Be the helpers. Look for people to help however you can through just conversation. You don't even have to do anything great, but just talk to them. Smile at them. Be friendly. Be the helper. Don't just look for a helper. Be the helpers. And I want you to think about stopping for 10 seconds right now. And I want you to think about somebody that has had a good influence on you in your lifetime. So I want you just to stop and think for 10 seconds right now on someone that has had a good influence on you in your lifetime. You got 10 seconds. Who's had a good influence on you? As you think about that person, I now want you to think about paying it forward. I think many of us have had not just one person be a good influence on us. We've had 2, 3, 4, 10. We've had many people that have been a good influence on us. How can you pay that forward? I think you can pay it forward. I'm challenging you to pay it forward. I'm also challenging us to keep connecting with people. Isolation is occurring all over the place. And we have to work hard at communicating and connecting with people in ways we never have. And I think we're all seeing things on Facebook and Instagram and social media that are allowing us to connect in ways we've never connected before. Prior to this event, I'd basically shut off social media. And now it's pushed me to get back involved in social media because there are good things with it. I think 80% of it's bad. I think there's 20% of it that's good. And right now there's many people engaging in that 20%, pulling the good off of these social media platforms and allowing us to connect in some crucial ways that we can connect. Look to connect with your people. Look to connect with your family. I said this Saturday, I've FaceTimed more now than I ever have in my life with my family, with other people, made more phone calls than I have in quite some time. And it's up to us to not just think about calling them. If there's a person in your life that you haven't talked to in a while, just pick up the phone and call them. Hey, how you doing? What are you up to? What do you think of this? What are you doing? Just pick up the phone. Our hesitation, our indecision is not good for us. Make the decision to contact people. Think about that person that had a good influence on you and paying that forward. And don't just look for the helpers, but be the helper. I know all of you can be the helper. And if someone needs your help, be the helper. Pick up your phone, connect with them. There are people probably everywhere struggling greatly, but the vast majority of you, I have faith in you. You have a mindset that's tough. You're mentally tough. You're working to work through this. You're digesting all of this. You're working not to be paralyzed by indecision. And you're looking to help people. Life hands us lemons, but we don't have to suck on them. Let's move forward.